sisters. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what it is. Today is Friday. Lashawan Qadash class, or as we call it in Atlanta, Hebrews 101. Alright? Because you know how we do. We don't do nothing too fancy. You know what I'm saying? That's for our brothers out in Chicago and New York and Cali. Those are the really advanced brothers. You know what I'm saying? We right down here in Atlanta in the South, we start from the bottom. Alright? Okay, so you know how we get down? Starting off with our letter, our syllables, or capitals, okay? And of course, we always go over this. Why? We go over the foundation because when you have to read, whether it be for the feast or for your own pleasure, we got it down pat. Okay? All right. So take it from the top. We have 22 syllables, 22 characters. All right? Ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, za, wa, ra, sha, ba. Alright, cool beans. So again, those are the syllables, the characters. That is the English pronunciation, if you will. Okay, now let's go over them in ancient Hebrew, okay? And we especially like to go over this just for the simple fact, whenever we go to a feast or you go to the Passover, and you see brothers and sisters with their glorious garments on, and you'll see some wording or some letters on the back, and you're wondering like, what is this? Or how do I pronounce this, okay? You'll actually see their names written gloriously in ancient Hebrew. Okay, so that's what you'll be reading, all right? Okay, so again, okay, remember now this one here, it's going to look like in English A, just turn on this side, okay? We have ba. What is this, what did we say it was, the number 4 with the hook on it? Then we have God, all right? Kind of like an obtuse triangle. Cool. Da, regular triangle. Ha, there you go, in the building. Wa, okay. Za, absolutely. Ka, there you go. Ta, then ya, there you go. Ka, half circle with a triangle. No sweat. La, ma,
So why the little W at the top?
there you go. Na,
So why?
okay, you know what? I almost assumed that this sister here has been in this class before.
Work.
Okay. Not bad. Okay. Sa,
That looks like a light bulb.
oh, absolutely. Little antenna. Very nice. I,
I-O.
Pa,
J.
Ta,
Tza. That's kind of like a flagpole.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah.
Flagpole. I was in the park. Remember that one? Flagpole. Flagpole. Building. All right. Qua.
Looks like a lollipop.
Hey. Mushroom.
Yeah.
Okay. Ra.
That was flat.
Okay. Sha.
W.
There we go. Ba.
X.
All right. Okay. She says an X.
Mm.
And what do we say? We call it a T laying on its side.
Yep.
Not
It's
bad.
just like,
Not bad. Okay. But see, no, this is good. This is good. This is good. We'll talk about this a little bit. Why it's very good. Okay. Okay. So one last time, the Hebrew alphabet now in Assyrian Hebrew. Okay, Assyrian Hebrew. We tend to focus on this one as always because it is the most predominant text that we have available. Okay. So here we go. Ah, ba, ga,
Ga.
kind of looks like a coat hanger.
Yeah.
Da,
Da.
all right. T, extended. Then we have ha,
Ha.
all right.
Like
Wa,
Wa, upside down L.
Za,
Za, it's a little T, little squiggly.
excellent.
Ka,
Ka,
open door.
excellent. Go see now. See how you said ka for the door, but you also said ha for the door.
True. Okay, so,
It's a very small difference.
is that line a little more out?
No. There's a
Oh, see,
space.
it's not, yeah, that's what I mean, because of the top.
Yes,
is
yes,
the line.
there's a space. So whenever if you're reading the text, you can't really decipher what it is because in certain texts they look a little bigger and some are just smaller. You can remember that space.
I wear glasses, sorry, so that's why I'm squinting.
Oh, okay.
I need to wear
Well,
glasses.
you said you need to
I mean,
sit a little. Thanks. Okay, cool. So yes, remember, the ha will have a space
okay.
in between, okay?
No,
Yes, you go, and ka will connect. You have ka. The next is ta.
Time,
All right. Kind of looks like a horseshoe. If you will.
yeah,
All right. Ya.
ya, smaller, upside down L.
Absolutely. Just in case, when we read it in the Hebrew text, excuse me, in the Assyrian text, pretty much it is the smallest number. It is the smallest letter.
Got it.
If you ever get confused about that. Okay? Then we have ka.
Ha,
All right, cool. Now, in the Assyrian Hebrew, in the text, there are 5 letters that will change their shapes when they are at the end of a word. Ka being one of them. All right? And pretty much it will look like the da, but with an extended clip.
okay.
So it'll be longer, okay? Then we have la,
La,
which will look like a question mark.
yeah, I
Right?
was gonna say same.
Mm-hmm. Then we have ma,
Ma,
which looks like a bell.
but it's not connected, like a
Absolutely.
broken bell,
Broken bell, very nice. And then when it's at the end of a word, a box.
a box, okay.
Right? Then we have na,
No, mm,
kind of looks like the wall.
but
What?
an extra line. at the
Extra
bottom,
line.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. But then when it's at the end of a word, it's
It's
gonna
like
look,
7,
it's gonna look just like the wall, but longer.
got it.
Okay? Very nice, very nice. Next we have sa. Okay, now sa does get confused sometimes with the ma. But remember, the ma only looks like this when it's at the end of a word. So that if you see something that looks like this near the beginning, it's going to be sa.
Got it.
Okay? Also remember that sa has a little extra hook.
Yeah,
Very nice, very
it's not
nice.
as boxy.
Absolutely. Okay, next we have I.
Ah,
Okay, that looks like a Y. Very nice. Then we have Pa.
looks like a 9,
Absolutely.
but that one next to
Okay.
it is just longer.
Very good. Very nice, very nice. We have Tazah. A squiggly Y.
Yep, it's really
There
wide.
you go. And then when it's at the end of a word,
That looks like backwards 4.
there you go. Absolutely, absolutely. Good. Next we have Qua.
Qua, looks like a P,
There you go.
but it's not
Absolutely.
connected all the way.
Then we have Ra.
Ra, it's a 7.
7. Mm-hmm. Also remember, because some people might confuse this with the dot,
Yeah,
but the rod is going to be a little curved
okay.
in the text, and the dot is just straight. Okay? Next we have shop,
Shop, W. looks
There
like
you
a
go.
squiggly W.
and then bob.
Backwards R.
Absolutely. Or it looks like the fob, squiggly line.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
There we
Yep.
go. Very nice. Very nice. In the building.
Roy.
Building, man. Very good, very good. Just real quick. Okay, let's check and see if anybody else with us on the conference call. No sweat. We're not there just yet. That's okay. We can. Hey, how about Shimon Shabbat? Who's this? Hey, Shalom Christ, brother. Good to hear from you. All right, okay. We just finished going over our alphabet. We have a guest with us today. We have our sister Alexa. So we're just going over the basics. All right, we just went over our alphabet. Now we're gonna go over the salute. All right. Cool. So next. I feel so fancy with that. Absolutely. Okay, so now, this will be the salute for the syllable by syllable, how you actually be pronouncing it. Okay? So now, you will say,
Shalom,
Lam,
Yahanna,
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Shamar,
Mar,
El,
Fa.
Atha,
Okay. And now, if it is, you are speaking to multiple people, that is brothers and sisters.
Athan,
Yes. So again, Shalom,
Shalom,
Yahweh, Shamar, Al-Fa,
Al-Athan,
or Athan, Ba, Shem,
Bahasham,
Yahweh, Shah.
Yahweh Shah.
Very nice. So again,
Shalom, Yahweh, Shamar, El, Athan, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah.
hey, is the building. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay? So now, that being said, what we tend to do next is we go over a verse or two in the Hebrew, and we give a little breakdown of that and see how it relates to present time. Okay? I tend to have more people on the line with that who are a little more seasoned and who are actually, you know what I'm saying, who are all students like me, who are also learning how to pronounce these. Okay? So now we will turn to, let's start off something small. We'll turn to, actually, it is kind of a long verse. Turn to the book of Hawashai, as we learned in the Hebrew, is the book of Hosea. The book of Hosea. All right. Shalom, how about you, who's checking in? Absolutely, absolutely. I was Yahanna trying to come in like here I come to save the day. Thanks. That's all right, man. That's all right. Huh? No sweat. No sweat. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So now, all right. Obviously, we had just went over our alphabets, of course. And we went over the salute for the sisters. We have our guest, our sister Alexa, with us in the building today. Okay. And now we're about to turn to the book of Hawashai. Hawashai, if you remember that in your notes, what book that might be? Absolutely. Absolutely. In the book of Hosea. All right. And we're going to look at this verse in Hebrew. In Hebrew, okay? Let's see now. How are we going to write this out? Should we write? I was in the part, we should write this one out in English.
I mean,
I think we write it out in English.
I mean, good.
Yeah, okay. Okay, but you know what? For Officer Napash, we will write this out in the English, okay? So Officer Napash, if you could, read this out for me. The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6.
Khan, this is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Okay, stop right there. So, my people have rejected knowledge. You know, it's interesting because I used to hear this verse so many times. I used to hear this verse so often in the church. And I never knew that there was actually more to that verse. I never knew that. It was that first section. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. That was it. That was it. But realizing that there's so much more to the Bible and so much more to that verse alone. Okay? Can you read it again?
I also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
So, forgotten the law of our God. Forgotten the law of our God, man. Like, do you understand like how powerful that is? That we have forgotten the law of our God. That is why, like, we're in this captivity right now. You understand? Like, we have rejected knowledge. Rejected the knowledge of our God. And if anybody, I was in a posh. Like, what's some of this knowledge that we have rejected of our God?
Basically about following the law, statutes, commandments.
Absolutely.
He told you not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Guess what? Every time you take your day out, y'all will go to Red Lobster. You get them crab leg specials.
Mm-hmm. You see? Something simple like that. We forgot the law of our God, man. And like we can't do that. We have to return. We have to return back to our God, man. Return back to this truth. Read that again for me.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I also forget thy children.
So he will forget our children as well. Forgetting our children as well, man. That is so powerful. He will forget our children. Again, which is why we are in this captivity right now, man. We have been forgotten. We have been essentially like put away, man. We have to come back. We have to come back, man, to our higher power, man. I was saying, Yahanna, you with me? Now, if you're in, okay, cool. Now, let's see. If you got your Tanakh with you, I want you to take a shot at this. While I write this out. Hebrews 4 and Hosea 4 and 6.
Are you going to read the whole thing?
Yeah, I want to see you can read the whole thing while I'm writing this out. I understand this. I understand this is a long version. Uh-huh. very nice. Give the brother a hand. Give the brother a hand. I wanted to see if you could catch up to me and I could finish writing this out. But my ADD is kicking in. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So now we just have this written out. And I wonder if I had actually written it out in Hebrew, if I could have written it out quicker. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got used to it.
Yeah.
Doing homework assignments and.
Exactly. Okay. So now, here is the scripture written out in English. In the English, okay? So, from the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. All right? Nadamwa, Anya, Mabalia, Hada'if, Kaya Atha, Hada'if, Ma'asaf, Ma'as-aka, Makahan, Laya, Wa Thashakak, Thawawa, Alahayaka, Ashakak, Vanyaka, Gam Anya. Okay? And the reason I wanted to start off with this, because going back to our author, Yahanna brought out a very powerful class yesterday talking about our black leaders. Our black leaders, okay? And how they are just so greedy and they're just dogs and they're really not leading our people to the promised land, if you will. But they are leading our people on the path of destruction. Okay? And again, with this, just look at the basic part, okay? How my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge is also, that lack of knowledge is knowing who our enemy is and knowing who to trust and who not to trust. Okay? With that knowledge itself, okay? Without the true knowledge, without truth and understanding, we don't know who to trust. And now we have put our trust into people who are not leading us correctly. Okay? And again, we rejected that knowledge, okay? The Bible, what else does the Bible say? It's like, never trust thy enemy.
Right.
Never trust that enemy. But because of our leaders, our so-called leaders, we are now trusting our enemies, thinking that we can be on equal terms with them, thinking that they will have a change of heart and somehow love and respect us because we give them compliments. Love and respect us because we're gonna see it their way. You see what I'm saying? But this is nothing new. Some 2,000 plus years ago, the prophets told us this very same thing. This very same thing right here. Because we rejected the Most High, He's going to reject us. Because we rejected His knowledge, He's going to reject His knowing us. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So now what happens? We have our leaders who are leading us on that path of destruction, man. Come on, officer, talk to me.
Every point you just brought out, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was listening to General Hyman on yesterday during the UK class. And he said a lot of the scriptures that are in the Bible are bound. You know, they have many meanings. And this is also one of those manifold scriptures, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we are destroyed by lack of knowledge.
how it's metaphor, how it has so many meanings, you know, and how it has, how it just sits with us, okay? Because again, because of our leaders, right? And so then what did also Jeremiah bring out last night? He talked about one of our leaders who has come back to lead us into that burning house. Al-Sharpton. No, but he's like really now, he's like came back like in full force. In full force. And guess what he's doing? He showed the article where now he's pretty much saying that oppressors' lives matter. Okay? And now our fight for our so-called fight for justice, our so-called fight for equality now has been convoluted into our oppressors' fight. Come on in.
Yeah, get a famous quote last night. He said, Al Sharpton and the hoes are back.
Yeah, I can understand that. They're back, man. That well must have been running dry. That well must have been running dry, man. You see what I'm saying? So now, you know, hey, you know, black people, they ain't got money like that. But all oppressors do. All oppressors do. So now what are they doing? They are saying like, hey, this kid matters. This kid matters. And then what they want to say? They want to say now that justice doesn't have a color.
Right.
Justice doesn't have a sex. Justice doesn't have a gender. Who does that sound like to you? All oppressors, but who in particular does it sound like? Exactly. The A, B, C, D, E, F, G, L, M, N. Yes, the alphabet community. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. So now for you to say that justice doesn't have a color, what are you doing? You're rejecting knowledge. Right. You're rejecting knowledge of the Most High, man. Justice doesn't have a sex, justice doesn't have a gender, you're rejecting knowledge. Absolutely. You're in a trance. You're in a trance, man. But here, man, in this Hebrew right here, it talks about that. It talks about that, man. And the thing is, it doesn't have to say that specifically. It doesn't have to say that specifically. I saw this video on TikTok. This sister was talking about how the Bible doesn't give specifics on like education and mathematics and business. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to give you the specifics. The specifics will come. But if you have the generalization to not reject knowledge of the Most High, to stay with your people, guess what? It will all come. It will all come, man. It will all come to you, man. So again, man, let's get back to this. Let's try to read this again. Officer Posh, talk to me. Let me hear you read this in the English. Read it. No, yeah. Read this for me. Yeah, no sweat.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 6.
In the Hebrew.
My God.
I don't know. Yeah. Now, I wrote it in English, so you can read it from left to right.
Okay. Number one, I'm Yah, my Baria, Hada, I.S.U.P.K, Ada, Hada, I.S.U.P.K, my I, Sas, Wa'a, my
Ma'as.
Wa'amas, Aka, Makahan, La'a, Laya, Wadasha Kak, Dawa Ross, La'a Hayaka.
Hold on, read that again. Try it again.
Allah Hayaka.
Okay, now put it all together. You said that word before?
Alayaka.
There you go. Allah Hayaka. There you go.
Hashak. No. Ashakak. Ashkak. Bayaka. Gamanya.
Okay. All right, so we have Ladamwa Amya, Babalya, Hada Aif, Kaya Ata, Hada Aif, Ma'asaf, Ma'askan, thank you. Ma'asaka, yeah, that's it. Wa'ama Asaka, Makahan Laya, Watashakak, Thamarath, Alahayaka, Ashakak, Banyaka, Gam Anya. Very good. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, we almost sound like professionals. Talk to me.
Well, when you were talking about I.S.U.P.K and how he was helping the oppressor, how he did the eulogy at the oppressor funeral the other day, you know what I'm saying? I got a precept for that if you don't mind.
You know what? I don't mind at all. Talk to me.
The book of Proverbs chapter 4 verse 14, enter not into the path of the wicked and go not in the way of evil men. So like y'all don't want it by me. The reason I brought that up is because not only did I.S.U.P.K, do the eulogy for that heathen, being crop is also represent the family, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's two men, that are of Israel, so to speak, that are not Israel, because they're going to do work for the enemy, you know what I mean? And this script right here says, plainly, enter not into the path of the wicked, meaning, don't do what the wicked are doing, and don't, and also, don't try to, defend the wicked, you know what I'm saying? And it also says, and go not in the way of evil men. When you try to defend that evil man, you basically going in that way. You're saying that evil man, even though he got killed, you know what I'm saying, what have you, you still going in his way because his people, his nation, Edom, Mount Seir, Esau, they have committed evil against the house of Jacob, against the house of Israel. And, when you see men like that going to do those type things, it reassures you and reaffirms that what Most High is doing with the I.S.U.P.K is truly where it's at. Because I don't see General Muhammad, General Yahanna, or none of the other generals going to the defense of our oppressor, no matter what the situation is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a very good point. And you know what? I'm so glad that you brought that scripture out. Because now we're going to read that one in the Hebrew. Absolutely, man. That's a very good point. And you're absolutely right. Again, I would say, enter not into the path of the wicked and go not in the way of evil men. Go not into the way of evil men. And going back to what in Hosea, how we rejected knowledge, right? What is that knowledge again? Somebody like Al Sharpton is evil. Somebody like Trump is evil. He is not, what's the old school saying? He's up to no good. He is up to no good. He's not here to help you. He is here to fatten his pockets. He's here to fatten his pockets, man. Al Sharpton does not care about you, man. Not at all, man. Because also, he brought up a very good point. He asked the question, when that child that was shot in Detroit by the Asian, who was essentially sniped from his house, did you see Al Sharpton then? Did you hear about Trump then? No, you didn't. They could not be found, man. They could not be found. And why? Because chances are, the money wasn't right. They couldn't get the money together. They couldn't get the contracts together, man. That is what Al Sharpton is all about, man. We got to understand that, man. We got to have that knowledge, man. Because these people, these so-called leaders, are not for us, man. They're not for us.
It's like even the Black Lives Matter movement, even with that, they trying to make money from it. A lot of moms whose sons were killed, they said, like, nobody's helping me even now. They just want the promotion from it so they can make money, but nobody's helping.
There you go. See? Very nice point, sis. That's what we're talking about, man. That's exactly what we're talking about. These leaders right here are not for us. They're not here to lead you, man. At least not on the path of righteousness. But they are pretty much going to lead you on the path of destruction, man. That's why we have leaders like Commander General Yahanna, man. Follow him, man, who's trying to lead you back to the Most High. Not on the path of destruction, man. All right, so now, that being said, Officer Napash, if you have your Tanakh with you, all right, I want you to take a shot at that in the Hebrew.
Okay, which verse?
Salakia. Proverbs,
Mm-hmm.
chapter 4,
4,
verse 14.
Okay. It's in Hebrew, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 14 in Hebrew. By I.S.U.P.K, Rashai, Ayam, Al, Dabath, Wa, Al, Da, Ashar, Bardar, Run, Ra'ayam.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Obviously, Yahanna, you with me? Let me hear you read this for me in the Hebrew.
Verse chapter 4, verse 8. Ra, Sha'ayim, Al, Taba'ah, Wa'al, Da, Ashar, Ba, Darakah, Ra'ayim.
Okay, not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. Sounds real good. Sounds real good. But this is what I was looking for right here. All right. Ba'arak, Rashayim, Al Taba'ah, Wa'al Ta'ashar, Ba'arak, Ra'ayam. Okay? That's what we're looking for. We're learning that at least when we see that ka, that the harder syllable, that's gonna connect. That's gonna connect as opposed to the softer syllable. Alright? So instead of Ba'arak, it should be Ba'arak. Alright? And also the part, we also remember when we go over the letters, we have to remember that certain syllables tend to look alike, especially in the Assyrian. And I know because when I first read it, it threw me off too. With that Ba'arak, we thought it was Ba'aran. I thought the same thing at first, but I had to look at it a little closer. Okay? So we also have to we gotta make sure of that. Gotta make sure of that. But that's why again we go over these letters and we talk about especially the differentiations between those letters. Okay? Remember that the ka is gonna have the extended clip, it's gonna go across. Okay? So it pretty much is punching. It's punching across. Okay? But now the na, when it's at the end of a word, it's gonna have that extended clip, but it's reaching. It's reaching on the shelf. Okay? It's reaching on the shelf. So the ka is going to punch. The na is going to reach. All right? Very nice. Very nice indeed. All right? Very good. Very good. And again, Yahanna, thank you very much for bringing that verse out. I'm going to have to use that for a class. Again. If you will. All right? But very good, man. Again, man, like the Bible said, what does the Bible say? Like there is nothing new under the sun. We had false leaders, false prophets then, and we got them now. We had people who were trying to lead us back to the promised land, and we got somebody who's trying to lead us now. Okay? And that's the manager in Yahanna. Back then it was Christ, before then it was Moses. And we had other prophets. Hosea was trying to help lead us back. Isaiah was trying to lead us back. King David was trying to lead us back. Alright? We gotta again, man, we have to go back to these scriptures, man. Follow these commandments, man. Follow these commandments. And it's funny because we're learning this in Hebrew. We're reading this in Hebrew. And we're speaking in English, right? Hebrew is what, some 2,000 years plus old language? And the same things are going on. The same things are going on. It's like we haven't caught on yet. So now it's like we have to learn, we got to learn this in a different language to catch on. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Come on in, talk to me. book of Ecclesiasticus, huh? No sweat, no sweat. Well, I'm not good like that, but like I can't help you with the Hebrew on that one, brother. Salaki. No sweat, brother. Talk to me though. Oh no, absolutely, brother. Hold on, brother. Hold on. Take your time. Take your time. I don't know if it's my phone or if it's your phone that might be breaking up. Where are we getting the book of Ecclesiasticus? Oh, you want to be in the prologue. Starting where?
I'm starting down at where it says, "Wherefore let me entreat you."
I see where it is. Okay, we're in the book of Ecclesiasticus, you said? The prologue. Yes. Yes, I see it. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
It says, "Wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language." Salam, y'all.
Absolutely. And you know what's so funny? You know the reason I'm laughing at that? Because it's very true. Not only is it true, right? But I was speaking with a high officer earlier today, and he actually hit me with that. He actually hit me with that on the way here to class. He hit me. I was speaking with Officer Hazahab, and he hit me with that same scripture today. And that's the section that he used, man. That's the section he used. You know what I'm saying? Being diligent, man, and follow again, and pretty much sticking with the scriptures. Sticking with the scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? Following the protocol of being in unison and being in uniform, man. To not deviate, man. Not to deviate. Stay on that path, man. Stay on that path. Because if you don't stay on that path, what can happen, man? You end up rejecting knowledge.
Right.
You end up following false prophets. You see what I'm saying? And with that, when you start rejecting the knowledge of the Most High, you start rejecting that truth. You want to follow after false prophets and whatnot. You end up in a burning house. And
Right.
also, what also can happen? People get in their feelings, and then they want to start another Israelite group.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That can happen as well. And so when you see those things, those little, you know how we say you want to nip it in the bud.
Mm-hmm.
Why you know why they say nip it in the bud? Because right now it's something so small. It's so small right now, but it has the potential of growing into something so fierce and and such a monstrosity that's going to be very hard to stop. It's going to be very hard to stop. So that's why we nip things in the bud. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when we go back to the scriptures and what do we do? Hebrews 1:1. We start off with the small stuff. The small stuff. Hey, don't go into the way of the heathens. Don't follow like the false prophets. Stop rejecting the laws of the Most High. Stop rejecting His knowledge, His truth. Why, man? Because in the end, you're going to end up in a whole nother land where you don't want to be.
Right.
You're going to end up in some place where you don't want to be, and it's going to be very hard to get out. Very hard to get out. You know, I remember coming to the truth. I was asking my father, man, as blacks, why are we here? You know, why are we in slavery? Why are we getting shot down by the police? Why do we go through Jim Crow? Why do we go through the construction era? My dad can never give me that answer.
Christians never can.
Absolutely, there's the water for that. Christians never can. Christians never can. And if they do, they'll give you, I forget the verse, but they pretty much will say that, to paraphrase it, that we are the Lord's entertainment. We're the Lord's entertainment. You see what I'm saying? Like he pretty much does things, you know, for his own pleasure. I think that's what it is. Like, yeah, he does things for his own pleasure. We're made for his pleasure. So all this drama that we're going through, all these problems, all this trauma that we're experiencing, this is for the Most High's pleasure. That's what we're taught as Christians. That's what, that's what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were taught as Christians. That we're for the Most High's pleasure and his entertainment. This is why we're here. But scriptures say something totally different. We've gone over this scripture before in Deuteronomy, right? On how what? You know what I'm saying? When if you don't want to hearken unto the Most High, what happens? You're gonna be shipped out. You're gonna be shipped out of here.
Right.
You're gonna be shipped out of here, right? It hasn't happened to anybody else. But as a Christian, I never saw that verse. I never saw that verse. And then the moment I brought it out to my pastor, oh yeah, I know about that verse.
No.
Why did you say something? Why did you say something? You know? I remember I saw a movie. It's one of my favorites. It's called Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption. And the dude said I had to go to prison to become a criminal. I had to go to prison to learn how to be a criminal. You know? And with that, I had to come into the truth. Had to come into the truth to learn the truth, man.
Right.
I couldn't go to church.
Right.
Come on, talk to me.
What you just said is so heavy, you know what I'm saying? And, I hate to bring out these precepts, but I got a precept away.
You know me, man. I like precepts.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 6, when you were talking about how the Christians do this, that, and third, how they try to teach you something, this, that, and third, but there ain't no knowledge coming from them because they don't have the wisdom of the Most High. This is Proverbs chapter 2, verse 6. It says, for the Lord giveth wisdom out of his mouth, out of his knowledge and understanding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For the Lord giveth wisdom out of his mouth, and out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. Absolutely. And you know what? Let's break that down in Hebrew. Let's break that down in Hebrew, man. And I appreciate you, Officer Yahanna. I appreciate you bringing out these good precepts because they do follow in with class. You know what I'm saying? Especially what we're talking about. And also for the fact that these verses are kind of short when it comes to Hebrew, as opposed to the scriptures that I will bring out, which will have a lot to say and a lot to write down. So, with that being said, let's write this out in Hebrew. Hey, read that for me again, Officer Yahanna. Yeah, read it. Go ahead and read it out for me in English.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 6 in the English. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And now with that being said, next we're gonna read this in Hebrew, right? But we're going to read this in ancient Hebrew. All right. We're going to read this out in ancient Hebrew. So, Officer Posh, I want you to get ready. And Officer Yahanna, I want you to get ready as well. You know, we just might have the sister read this too. We just might have the sister read this too. You do have your alphabet, correct? You don't have that?
I don't think I have it in this one.
No sweat.
It wasn't emailed to me. I would read it.
Okay. No sweat. It's all right.
Okay.
All right. So now, I'll say Yahweh Yadai. Bingo. Let's see, let me see if I got them. I'll see Yahweh Yadai, you with me? All right. Let's see. I got this out in the ancient Hebrew. You can follow this online. Okay. Yes. Now, whenever you see this, we are reading this in right to left. Okay. The special thing about this in the ancient Hebrew is what we call, well, at least Atlanta, bumpers and bridges. Bumpers and bridges. Okay. So now, if you see a bump, that should be a single syllable. You see a bridge, with a connect. Okay. So now, Officer Napashkaya, reading from the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 6. For the Lord giveth wisdom, for his Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. Please read for me in the Hebrew.
Call it's Kaya, Yahweh, Yathan,
Okay.
okay, Kai, Ma,
All right.
okay, Ma, Pi, Hawa, okay, Da, Ice,
Okay.
okay, Y, Da, Ba, Y, Na.
Okay. Not bad. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Also, Yahweh Yadai. Are you with me on 2? All right. Let me hear it. Hold on. Verse 2 and 6? Okay. All right. Not bad. Okay. Sis, you want to try this?
I can give it a go.
Okay, tell you what. Give me the first 2 letters.
First, okay.
All right, give me the first 2 letters.
Ka, Ya,
Very good. Kaya, good.
Kaya,
All right.
Kaya, Ya, Kaya, Ha.
Okay.
No, I'm missing
Okay.
one.
Okay, so we have Kaya.
Kaya,
Next
Ya,
word.
Ha, Wa,
Okay, now put it together.
Kaharwa,
No, almost. Kaya.
Kaya, Kaya, Ya, Ha, Wa.
Okay. Good. Now.
Because I'm a little.
Okay, no, good. You had it. So now, let's put that together. Put that second word together. Yeah.
Ya,
Uh-huh.
Ha,
Uh-huh.
Yahweh.
Good job. Absolutely.
All right,
Very
thank you,
nice,
thank
very
you,
nice.
appreciate the support.
No sweat, no sweat. So that's what we're about. Brotherhood's weapon, sisterhood's a weapon.
That's
All
right.
the way. Very good,
I'm
very
gonna
good.
practice this.
But you,
Can I take a picture of
what
this?
you see, huh?
Can I take a picture of this?
Absolutely, sis, absolutely. But you see, like, once we, you know, just take it letter by letter. Letter by letter, it's gonna come to you. And then, what happens? After you leave Atlanta, you go to Chicago, you go to New York, and then you ask them brothers, hey, Salakia, sir, what does Payah mean? And the brother will say, oh, no sweat, brother, hold on, give me a second. They got it for you. I'll admit, I can't tell you what it means yet. I can tell you how to pronounce it. I can tell you how to pronounce it. See what I'm saying? So again, Hebrews 1:01. All right? Nothing too fancy, just the basics. Stay with that foundation, okay? So very good, sis. So we got Kaya, Yahweh, Yathan, Kakama, Mapapayawa, sorry, Mapayawa, the If, Wathaba, Wana. Wathaba, Wana. Absolutely, absolutely. And what did we read? Hebrew, that's what I give it. The book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 6. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. All right? Knowledge and understanding. And what's that knowledge? The truth. All right? Follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and stop following false leaders and false prophets, because they will steer you off the path. They are evil men who are only about themselves and not their or our people. All right? And with that, we'll pass the class off to Officer Pashkaya.
All right, that's in the class. Shalom, this is the I.S.U.P.K security announcement. Where I.S.U.P.K started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to set themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. That means your captain or your captain rules on. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. My Ishra, that means 10th in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department of teacher, priest fund, free will offer for priests not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to kill. The next holy convocation is the feast of the memorial of the blowing trumpets. That is September 6th, sundown. If anyone wants to be a trooper in school, start wearing all black, boot, shirt, pants, headband with scarf. With that, men Israel, you want to salute. Men Israel is a mighty Sabbat, a mighty rock. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua brother thumb. What I said to the Hebrew, translated in English, may the Most High in the name of Christ bless you. Yad Matai, your hands down. Sorry. Turn to the sister. Okay, you can have your heels like this in the 4-5-3 angle. Right hand on your left, head down, shine your face to the Lord. What I said, rock, put your right hand on your chest. Okay, with that, men Israel give one curse salute to the sister in the class. Men Israel, a mighty Sabbat, a mighty rock. Yahweh Shema, El Thab Hashem Yahshua.
Yahweh Shema, El Thab Hashem Yahshua.
Okay,
Did I do it?
Almost.
Yeah,
I can do it again.
Okay, we'll say, okay. Yahweh,
Yahweh
Shamar,
Shema,
Alathan,
Alathan,
Bahashim,
Bahashim,
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
okay, what you just said in Hebrew, I'm going to translate it to English. May the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. Yah Matah, hands down, like